Grace. Kumechacha. Hey. Kumechacha. Nakwambia, happy Saturday.
Yes.
Happy World AIDS Day.
Happy World AIDS
Happy
Day.
Reja breakfast.
Have we got a show for you today?
Yeah, leo show ni Reja.
Kabisa.
Take off your suit.
Yes.
Take off your tie.
Yes.
Take off your scarf. Whatever you like to take off and feel free.
Take it off.
Because leo we are Reja.
Reja.
We are free.
Hey, Grace, I don't know about Reja, but me, I feel we are meta-metaring.
We can't meta when we are. We can't meta when we are Reja.
Kumechacha. Wow, thank you for those of you who are just tuning in. Welcome. Yes. We're going to take just a minute to share, let people know, invite them to come. So do the same.
Please share, please tag your friends.
Yes.
Yeah, so that we all join in this Reja breakfast.
Yes.
It is a very special day today. We have many manenos. Words. We have many manenos.
You know,
we have many stories.
Yes. America manenos.
We have America manenos. Inside this America pot, there is a lot.
Nakwambia.
American pot has a lot of stuff. Chris, are you sharing with your friends?
Yes, I'm doing it right now. Let's see.
Hey.
Tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda daima, Kenya nchi tunayoipenda daima, Kenya nchi tunayoipenda daima. Najivunia sana tuliita wa Kenya, nchi yenye baraka daima, Kenya nchi tunayoipenda daima.
Grace, has that become our national anthem?
I think it is.
I
think it's a very good immigrant anthem.
Hey.
Hi, Grace. This internet
today, this internet is giving us. Grace, maybe you could greet the diaspora.
Habari diaspora. Welcome. Nakwambia, we are here to represent Kenya. We are here to represent Africa.
Yes.
Habari from wherever you may be watching.
Yes.
You may be watching us here in this beautiful home of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, University City. We want to actually give a shout out to everybody who has been messaging us, Grace. We have such a robust community of Kenyans around the area.
Yes.
University City, Reading Terminal, people are opening great businesses around. Support Kenyan business. Where else are people listening to? If you're watching from Alabama, if you're watching from California, students, international students, give you a major shout out.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Where else are people? Belinda Bokech, shout out. Kumechacha, Germany.
Kumechacha, Germany representing us, and we'll be in Hanover next Saturday for Rumba or Hangla. If you want to learn the traditional Luo dance, all the way to Hanover.
Nakwambia.
Yes.
Where else are people watching to? Patricia Mataga, watching from The Hague in the Netherlands.
Yeah, and to Patricia, as you travel all over the world, we wish you the best, because we know your ambition is to travel to every country in the world.
Yes.
And when you travel, you become wiser, you become more exposed, and you become very sensitive, because you learn other people's culture and learn to respect them and why people behave in the way they do.
Right. And there's something to be said about traveling. Sometimes it's good to get, if you don't even need to travel abroad to like first world countries, quote unquote. You know, I wish I could travel to even Rwanda, you know?
Yes.
Just take an opportunity and travel.
Tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda daima, Kenya nchi tunayoipenda daima, Kenya nchi tunayoipenda daima. Anayependa Kenya ni yule mwenye kutenda haki kwa watu wote.
Grace, we took notes.
We always take notes. Now that you're exposing me and I'm hiding these notes under the table. Okay, let me put it out in the open.
You know, it's not like exams. We are showing you as we studied for this chapter.
Kenya nchi tunayoipenda daima, Kenya nchi tunayoipenda daima. Kipenzi Kenya, kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya
I came to the
Because
US.
you put our stress or that is traditional. You'll sure.
I don't know, but it sounds good.
I can never get this tap here. So I just go with my mouth. I go, you go the way your style goes, yeah?
Yeah, as long as it sounds good.
Yes.
As long as it sounds good.
Okay, I've told a few of my friends, thank you for joining us.
Yes, those of you are joining from the groups. Thank you for seeing us and watching.
Kenya nchi tunayoipenda. Kenya nchi tunayoipenda. Kenya nchi, Kenya kipenzi chetu. Hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya kipenzi chetu. Hatutaiacha milele daima.
Now that verse that says nikienda Kenya nikitoka Kenya na nikitoka Kenya sitarudi tena.
How many of you?
Hatutaacha Kenya daima na milele. Kenya kipenzi chetu. Hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya kipenzi chetu. Hatutaiacha milele daima.
I know airfares are really expensive in December, but hopefully you have saved and saved and saved.
Preparation.
Yes, because we are waiting for you at the airport.
Yeah, watu wanakungojea at the airport. You promised to go home for Christmas.
Yes.
And May, this is the time to fulfill your promise. Usiseme unakuja kama Omolo Kanyunja.
Omolo Kanyunja.
Yeah, Omolo Kanyunja really made people wait. There was this party.
Yeah.
In the village, and everybody prepared, the whole village prepared the meals, they slaughtered cows and everything,
right,
to come and pay dowry. And Omolo Kanyunja never showed up. People waited. People waited with the food.
He should have beaten that Omolo. I think he should have arrived so that he could be beaten. Yeah.
No, he didn't. Sometimes it's good not to show up than to go show up and then start mistreating someone's daughter.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But I remember one of my aunts, somebody did the same thing to her. Normally when someone does not show up, there's a conversation that has been held around you. So there are people who are called you same. The people who, what do you call them? The people who create stories about you so that you don't get the husband or the wife.
Okay.
Yeah. So my aunt was supposed to get married and the man had already brought the cows, but the cousin got jealous. Yeah. So the cousin went and told everybody like, oh, she's been married somewhere else with 2 children. She just came back for holidays. Like she disagreed with the husband and that's why she's here. The lady didn't have children and had never been married.
Wow.
So the man came back for his cows. Yeah.
That's so
but he really came to regret it later on because his marriages didn't work. Yeah, he kept marrying and it didn't work. But this other lady whom he abandoned had a nice family. Her children were all over here in the US and she had built a hospital in Nairobi.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
a hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, and that's why people say there's a very famous person, I don't remember the name, but he says, God, thank you that I know who my enemies are. Please show me my friends. Yeah, because a lot of times you think your friends are your friends. You think your enemies are your friends. No, you think the people you think are your friends,
right? Maybe
your enemies. At least your enemies, you know them. They say, when I remember we were saying the people who don't like somebody, they just don't like somebody.
They just,
they're saying, oh, I just don't like somebody. Why? I just don't like them.
Just like that.
Just like that. It's just in my blood. I just saw them and I didn't like them. So at least you know they don't like you. But the person who is like, hey, please, let's go do this.
Right.
But the person has the knife here. Oh, sorry,
that one hurts.
These examples are better said with the mouth.
But you know, it shows how much it hurts because you don't expect it to come. You never see it coming. At least with someone that you know, at least you can.
I don't like Grace.
Yeah,
I don't like that lady. When I see her, I just start lose appetite. You know, my hypertension just counts. Yeah. But at least
in a world of 7 billion people, finding friends is very hard.
It's hard,
knowing friends is very hard.
So it's even hard when you say you're choosing your friends. You say, oh, hang out with the right people, and then you get the surprise.
Yeah. Hey.
Even your own country can abandon you. Yeah, you're saying Kenya ni baba na Kenya ni mama, but we have come here because of other reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
And even when the song says, I'll make a commitment to come back, sometimes it's not feasible to come back.
To say that when I live in Kenya,
I will come back.
I will come back.
It's easier said than done for so many people. Yeah. But we are on that positive tip.
We are on the positive side. Hope you know your heart. Hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya kipenzi chetu. Hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya ni baba yangu, tena ni mama yangu. Hatutaacha Kenya daima na milele. Kenya kipenzi chetu. Hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya kipenzi chetu. Hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya ni baba yako, tena ni mama yako. Hatutaacha Kenya daima na milele. Kenya kipenzi chetu. Hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya kipenzi chetu. Hatutaiacha milele daima. Be smiling. Kenya ni baba yetu, tena ni mama yetu. Hatutaacha Kenya milele daima. Kenya kipenzi chetu. Hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya yetu. Kenya kipenzi chetu. Hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya ni baba yetu, tena ni mama yetu. Hatutaacha. Ay, my shoulders, Grace. My shoulders are killing me. Kenya kipenzi chetu. Hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya yetu. Kenya kipenzi chetu. Hatutaiacha milele daima. I'm almost jumping off my seat. Kenya kipenzi chetu. Kumechacha.
Kumechacha. I have my hands.
After we have praised Kenya, if Kenya knew how much we love.
I'm going in and out because I need to breathe. My
I need
hands
to
are so
breathe
hot.
too. But let me drink my
My
juice.
Grace, you know we need to put our ketepa on. Hey.
Hey.
Kumechacha.
Grace, cheers.
Cheers.
Happy World AIDS Day.
Happy World AIDS Day.
Happy to those who are well.
Yes.
And we'll talk about this later, but we commemorate this special day, World AIDS Day 2018, to our family members, friends, relatives, colleagues who have left us and are not here with us today. And we appreciate life. We celebrate life because we are here and we are thankful. And we are living by the moment.
Yes. And
so, who are those joining us?
Nancy family.
Welcome, Nancy. Happy Saturday.
Just wait. We have breakfast for you. You will.
And Nancy, please bring your breakfast. We like you when you watch us when you're eating, because breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Sometimes we work so much, you get up, you just want to drink some water or take a snack. Yeah, but give yourself a treat. Saturday is a treat day.
Yes, you deserve it.
And Winnie Award,
thank you for joining. Hey, Grace, me, I need that tea over there. Can you make the tea?
You know, in the studio. Anyway, today's Reja Saturday.
Studios.
In a normal studio, you're not supposed to get up and abandon your audience. But leo ni Reja. Mimi nitaamka.
Hey, Grace, that dress, yawa.
This dress is we were saying, Grace, that they don't like women now to wear dresses that show their shapes.
Let me ask you,
they want women to wear gunias.
They want women to wear gunias.
Yes.
To be covered around like a capsule.
Like a capsule. You start wearing a dress that looks like a capsule.
Like a capsule.
Yeah. Or sota.
In Lu, I had it called Ibori capsule.
Yeah, Ibori capsule.
Yeah.
You've covered yourself like a banana.
Let me tell you, it's a liberation. Grace, it's also 16 days of awareness of
gender-based violence against women and children.
So we also want to acknowledge that 16 days. Yeah, so it's a really important day for us. For a really important month here for us.
Yes.
And we have our Ketepa tea ready, Grace. So let's show our mugs. Our Ketepa tea mugs, so we can show folks our breakfast.
Chai ofisini, chai mashambani, mahali popote. Wakati wowote ni wakati wa
Brook Bond.
Brook Bond.
So
Sikari.
Sukari. Grace may don't drink.
Okay. Don't drink.
sukari.
Soda is bad. You know, I was taking 4 cups, but now I've reduced to 1. So I'm really doing well.
Cups.
Like self-care, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Habari Diaspora, thank you for tuning in wherever you may be. And as always, we always want to bring a bit of home here. And we also today we are on a Reja episode. We want to say that we want to acknowledge people that have the opportunity to make Kenyan food, to make African food at home, because sometimes it takes time to make. You know how long it takes to make Kenyan food.
Yes.
And on this day, we are going to show you that some days are Reja days, but you can do Reja and eat very well.
Yes.
So we're going to start with the first thing on our plate.
Cornflakes. You say cornflakes or cornflakes? Yeah, cornflakes.
Yes. Yeah. And this is specifically Kellogg's cornflakes. And Grace, we were laughing about how in Kenya cereal is just like either for like rich people.
I tell you, I used to just eat cornflakes during Christmas once a year. Let me not cheat anybody. And when I came here, you're like,
yes,
you like a lot of milk or a little.
A little.
And just go. Stop me.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel that is a cup of milk.
You drink milk. Yeah. What do you think? You're not a pushy. You don't like to drink milk. You're not a pushy.
I'm not a pushy.
Pushy.
Yeah. So we're having cereal. I remember for us it was not cornflakes as much as it was Weetabix. Because
Weetabix was sweet.
I love Weetabix actually.
So when I came to America and found that I could actually buy my own box of cornflakes and eat it myself.
Yeah.
Did I not buy it? Did I not eat it? I ate
cornflakes.
I ate cornflakes until I hated cornflakes. Because even when we were eating it at home, everybody was given very little. Very little. It was like medicine. Yeah. But I discovered that cornflakes, you can have a whole box of cornflakes to yourself.
Yeah.
So this is one of the freedoms of cornflakes.
And here I think you can get maybe this at some dollar stores you can get for $1, or you can get a big box for like maybe 400 shillings. I think in Kenya you'd have to get it for like 1,000 shillings or something.
But Grace, are we not betraying people because we said we would be eating Kenyan food? This cornflakes are Kenyan food.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
If it's in the supermarket, it's a Kenyan food.
It's Kenyan food. Okay.
Yes, we don't only have cornflakes. You know, as we eat combinations. We have wings.
Reja wings.
Reja wings. These are called mango habanero.
Hey, Grace.
Mango habanero.
Are you doing English classes?
I'm doing Spanglish classes.
Mango habanero.
If you ever thought that wings and the chicken and the mango did not go together, get you some mango wings.
And Grace, I know that when you buy chicken wings in the restaurant, it's a little expensive.
Yes.
It's almost like $999 Kenyan shillings, a little plate, like 6 wings. How much were these? And how long did it take you to prepare them?
These were, I think if you get the wings themselves, you can get them for $5. That's big pack.
That's like how many? About 20?
Like 20, even 40. Depending on where you get a sale.
Yeah, Grace, remind me not to speak with too much accent.
20.
They will be 20. Yes.
I'm telling you, America has changed I've used different muscles of my tongue since I came to America. What else do we have? We have, before the food gets cold, we have collard greens. These are collard greens which
is that sukuma wiki or kandira?
This is the sukuma wiki.
Okay.
This is sukuma wiki. This we got actually I confess that I got this at the store. You can get them canned.
Yeah,
it's
so they make
Reja.
sukuma wiki. I don't know if Kenyans have already started that business, but you could start a business making sukuma wiki, packaging them. Grace, I wish you had brought the tin or the can. So people cook sukuma wiki, well prepared, and can them and distribute them to the supermarket. So when you go, you just buy your own and warm it. Yeah, that's all. You don't need to cut it. And I know at home they cut it for you in the supermarket. Yeah, I personally do not like the already cut ones. I like washing them myself. Yeah, because they just buy them and cut, and sometimes they're cutting worms and other insects.
Right, that's true. That's true.
Although that is protein. But protein is good for you. Yeah.
But we're doing a Reja, so you can get this stuff at the store. Yeah.
We have Reja.
I think the Kenyan in me will never.
Yeah.
Before we get to the tomatoes.
Yeah, we have the sweet tomato snack. So this tomato, you're just supposed to eat it like a fruit, like a sweet.
Have you ever had that before?
Yeah, you just rado it. Rado.
And because we are children at heart, we have chips.
Yeah, we like chips, so they call it fries. Chips.
I'm telling Grace, this is a leftover breakfast. In true essence, this is a leftover breakfast.
That's why we call it Reja. These are things that we ate yesterday or the day before, but now we don't want them to get spoiled in the fridge, and we don't like to waste.
And who says you need to just have bread and eggs and chai for breakfast?
Yeah.
Papaya. When I came to America, I heard that they are called papaya, not popo.
Yeah, so when I went to the supermarket and asked for popo, the lady was like, we don't have that.
So we have papaya, we have grapes,
grapes.
We have bananas.
Banana rabolo,
yes. Yes. Also, yogurt. What's this?
I like my pack.
Original.
Caramel apple pie.
Hey,
yogurt.
Oh, yeah, this is also caramel apple pie. You can see it.
Yeah.
What else do we have? And as usual, our ketepa tea. Yes.
Yeah, with the ginger. We have tea masala. You can either have tea masala if you like it very spicy, or you can just have ginger by itself.
Yeah,
raw ginger.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this is going to be a very filling breakfast, and I hope that you're sitting there and having breakfast too.
Yes.
Grace. Most important, we always talk about breakfast as being part of self-care. And so I'm wondering what you did for self-care this week.
Oh, so for self-care this week, I had a very, very busy week. Grace, I was traveling last night. I was traveling to New York. I was traveling, going to pay rent for, at the landlord's. The bus broke down. I had deadlines in the office. I worked all week. I was busy finishing some projects. And then I got to New York. I left the function. I got here at midnight. And then I got home at 1 this morning. I came and found my the Kumechacha dogs was unwell.
I know.
And they needed attention. So we sat with them, Samson and Delilah. Some of you have met them. We sat with them all till morning, about 6 o'clock. So I was supposed to go for a wild day prayer day breakfast, and I had to miss it because I just had to take care of myself, give myself some sleep. Not go there and not focus on what I'm going to do. So I just slept in until about 8. And then I'm up now. And I'm going to sleep after this. I'm going to have a very, very good sleep.
Grace, maybe it's one of those days, some days you just want to wake up, fill your stomach, and go to bed. That will be one of those days. For me, Grace, for self-care, I really, I haven't been able to spend time with my friends as much. So this week, I had fun with my friends, went out, listened to some nice music. Sometimes it's nice to shake your body, relax and enjoy yourself. If you have a good, like we said, God helped me to know who my friends are. And I was able to really find the benefits of friendship and love from like a very good perspective. So I had fun with my friends.
Did you dance Ikwela Kwela Jakaku?
Jikwela Kwela Jakaku. How did you dance?
Hey, mama, Ikwela Kwela Jakaku. Ikwela Kwela Jakaku. Mama, tulambu Ikwela.
What language is that?
Lingala.
Ay, man, you poured that Lingala even me a good confused.
Hey, mama, Ikwela Kwela Jakaku. Ikwela Kwela Jakaku. Mama, tulambu Ikwela.
Who's that? Who sang it, Grace? Hey, I need to find that song.
Sing with Ikwela Kwela 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 Jakaku. Maybe somebody is a viewer might tell us who Ikwela Kwela Kwela Jakaku is.
Grace, like I don't think we've spoken about self-care like a lot in the previous episodes, but especially when you come to this country and even you may be very new or maybe several years in, you may be a veteran in this immigrant living life in a new land again. But self-care is so important because this life is not it's always something that you need to re-experience. Some things you experience every single time. Some things are new to you every single time you experience them, and that can be very stressful and very tenuous. So it's really important that you take some time off to reflect, to rebuild yourself, and to make sure that you're ready for the new day that is coming, because challenges are always coming.
Chris, you're right. And when I went to one of the workshops that had been organized at my place of work about stress management, it actually came out that a lot of people come to work and they handle you in a certain way. They're rude, they're noisy, they want to pick up a fight, but it's not because it's not you. They have issues, underlying issues at home that they're bringing to work, and they have not been able to handle them. And they have various programs at Penn, at Temple, at Drexel, where you can have 5 free sessions with a therapist. It's not in our culture to talk to therapists. It's an American thing to talk to therapists. But at home, when you have a problem, either you keep it to yourself or when you tell somebody, the whole village will know about it. Yeah. So there are those two alternatives.
Yeah.
You keep it to yourself and develop hypertension, pressure, you commit suicide, or you tell it to someone who will tell it to someone. And when you don't want an issue to spread, tell the person it is not a secret. Just go tell it. They will not say it. But if you say it is a secret, then it will go out.
Right.
Yeah? But once someone tells you that something is a secret, tell them, no. If it's a secret, why are you telling me? Yeah. If it's a secret, you should have kept it. If you cannot even keep it to yourself, you're telling me. You cannot keep your own secret, and you're telling me, how do you expect me to keep it for you? Yeah. You're a custodian of your own secret. So if you want something to be a secret, keep it to yourself. Yeah, but self-care is really, really important. And they say that all these people, there are people in the offices called the firefighters. They're ahead of everybody. They finish all their deadlines. They're always working. They don't smile with everybody. They don't take a break. They don't even go to the bathroom. Yeah, they wait until end of day. They go to the bathroom when they reach home, or when they're at the train station. Yeah, these are the people who have stroke. They have hypertension. They have heart attack. Because the adrenaline is on 24 hours.
But you know, Grace, I want to acknowledge that two things. Sometimes you can be experiencing some type of like emotional, even like mental distress, but you don't feel it, or it's not described in the way that you would recognize. There's some people who experience mental health thing going on, but they feel it in their body. Then you feel someone is saying, I feel like I have a very heavy weight on my shoulders. Sometimes not being able to articulate is half the battle for some of us who are coming to experience these things in a different land. In Kenya, you never got to talk to someone so that someone can say, oh, I feel like this, or I sleep all day, and things like that. So sometimes you can feel it in your body, you can feel it in your joints, you can feel it. You just feel sick, you just feel fatigued. Yeah, it's important that if the barrier to maybe getting to a mental health clinician is too much for you to just jump there, be able to find a doctor. I think doctors are the doctors, community health workers, peer specialists, even friends that you have in your community who have even a health background, the CNAs. Listen, CNAs, you are the gatekeepers of the communities that we have, because you are represented in this immigrant community, especially Kenya, Kabisa. So you have the opportunity to really provide a lifeline to people who may be suffering in silence, you know? So we want to give mad props to the people who are in the healthcare community, for the people who are working in mental health, especially Kenyans and Africans, who can bridge that gap for immigrants who are really looking for assistance. And, you know, in Kenya, I think there's a thing where being a workaholic is almost encouraged because you are working, you know, you're working hard. No, take a break. You can take a break. You can take a break. Yes, take opportunity of these facilities that are offered here in America and not in Kenya, because at home we don't really say, welcome, Marsha, thanks for watching, and thanks for your compliments. Because in Kenya, when you go to see a mental health person or a psychiatrist, people say you're mad. Yeah, and you start getting stigmatized and treated in a certain way. So we never have the conversation in Kenya saying that, oh, I have these issues, I have mental health problems. Nobody ever says that. Sometimes you'll be ostracized. The doctors themselves are the people sometimes causing the problem. Because they look at you like you are just a mental patient. Yeah. And they prescribe for you medication without consult. They give you medication that makes you sleep 24/7. But if you have mental health, it's important to embrace yourself. Just accept who you are, what's going on with your body, because it's your body and it's your health. So don't try to impress people by trying to show an image that you're looking good and everything is going fine, but you're really not fine. That's important. So I want to say that, you know, it's okay, it's human. We're encouraging you to take time and reflect and do the things that will honor your body, that will replenish the beautiful, amazing, strong, authentic person that you are. And Reja, you also reminded me, they were telling us that you can take a mental health day off. And a mental health day off can mean that you've had a breakup in a relationship. That's a normal thing. So when you have a breakup in your relationship, or you break up, your partner didn't show up at the altar, don't come to work and start working extra hard, you know, doing so much work and doing other people's work, and like, oh, do you have something I want to help you? Because you are actually diverting, you are delaying the process of grieving and healing. When you lose a loved one, your partner, or your mother, your father has passed on, and you're just coming to work and acting like it's normal, working hard, smiling at everybody. You're really wasting, you know, precious time that you could use, you know, being out there,
trying to process the whole
Right,
thing. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And as we're going into like the main topic of the day, we also want to say like there's this, I guess, a stereotype that you're supposed to always be on your game. That Americans are like just, or maybe Europeans, depending on where you are. But from our experience, I used to think that Americans were, if you're a good worker, you don't take time off. You're always there. You're always active. You are just like maintain. Because it's a go-getter economy. And then you come and realize that Americans, so for the big extent, are really, really concerned and obsessed about their own welfare, about their own healthcare. So they'll be ready to come to you and say, listen, my brain is like this sometimes, and sometimes I need time off. And they'll tell you, and they say, that's me, deal with it, So
your cat may be sick, your dog may be sick, your car may have broken down. Take that time off. Don't bring that stress to work. And just upset everybody and make life difficult for everybody. And make it, don't be too hard on yourself. You're just human.
Hey, Kumechacha.
Kumechacha, great.
Kumechacha.
Kumechacha.
So let's get into our episode, Grace.
Yes. Looking at my notes.
You're looking at my notes.
Research. I like researching.
Grace, you're a very studious student.
Yes.
Me, I used to write. I don't copy. But if I was making a speech or something, I would write here, just so that I remember. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully they didn't get ready.
Okay.
But Grace, let me start off with the topic. I hope everyone can see us. Is the connection good? Can you hear us? I hope you can.
So living home can be a joy, a big joy.
Yes.
I'm going to America, I'm going to this new land of opportunities, and I'm going to find this and that. And I remember this song, Embakasi. Embakasi means you said you didn't know it.
I don't know
because
the song.
Your generation, you're from a different generation.
But I live next to Embakasi.
But there's this famous band in Kenya called Mangelipa. They used to sing this Embakasi song. Embakasi mina kwenda moyo. Natizama nchini omora. Stand by. That's the plane standing by.
Okay.
Asking the plane to stand by because they want to wave back. They're going to America. So Embakasi used to be a great song.
Oh, that's nice.
I know it. I don't know if I remember all the words, but I know my people used to sing it everywhere.
Yeah.
Ningala salama mayo yawanangana kei mayo mora.
That's Lingala.
Simana kamata na mbokoni ye.
That's Lingala.
Lingala na suma. Yo mora sunga ngana yebira lana. Usivu chike moyo mora yo mora.
Me and the person in the back just sing like
Suzi mwana wa Kenya. Mpenzi kwa heri subiri nitarudio. Siwe na shaka ujue ya Kenya. Baraka hewani, baraka ya Kenya. Okay, that's our song. Off key, but we're just making fun.
Thanks for
Welcome,
joining us,
Aboge
Aboge
friend.
friend. So Grace, when
living home and the stereotypes, the things we imagine America is, and the good things. We think America is a land of milk and honey.
Yes.
It's the milk and honey here, Grace. You have been here how many years?
Almost
plus 10 plus.
10 plus years.
Did you find milk and honey? Is this Jerusalem, the golden city? Is this Canaan that we leave Kenya for?
Grace, I remember when I was coming to the US and the training that we received and the information that we received from the impression that I got from what people were telling me was, first of all, Americans are so professional. So we had etiquette classes. No more quanyoring your food with your hand. You don't eat with a spoon. You eat with a knife and a fork. It was just this, like, I felt like I was going next to heaven. A US and then heaven over here. And so when I came here, I was expecting such a different. I was expecting to just be like, I don't know if I was expecting to be in a palace or what it was that I was expecting. But what I came to realize is that there's so many stereotypes that we have, either through TV maybe, or through the people that actually come back and tell us these stories about America, that you come and when you come and realize it's like another type of culture shock.
So Grace, when you came, did you expect to just move into a house that looked like a biscuit, like candy?
Me, I could, yeah. Not really like
You
a
remember those
biscuit.
Christmas biscuits that they used to arrange in a box? Some had sugar, some were round. They came in layers.
No, I think I was more realistic than that. But what did you think? Maybe you were the one wanting to live in a biscuit house.
No,
Hansel and Gretel.
no. Actually, I came in as an asylee, so I knew I was going to end up in a shelter or a camp or something. But a lot of us come in here and they think that when they come, they'll just move into a house.
Right.
And what happens when you're looking for a house in America? What happens? Why are people living 8, 10 people sharing one room?
Why? Why?
Why? Tell me. You're the one who's been here long.
I've never, the most, I would say that I've been privileged to the extent that I've lived there mostly in university dorms and been able to manage through that. But life is expensive, and expecting that we have the stereotypes that Americans are rich.
Yes.
Have
the
the
dollar,
stereotypes,
the dollar.
because we're so used to having the dollar converter and we are scared by
It's
it.
called the dollar lie.
And you come in and you see that, especially if you're living in the urban area, especially if you're living in the metropolitan area, New York, and not even, you find people are renting by room. You know, people are renting like living bed-sitter style. You think that you left bed-sitter in Kenya, you come and find the real bed-sitter here. You find couples living in a room. They share common amenities. They share the sitting room.
What is common amenities? Grace, your English has really improved. I think you're attending English classes. What is common amenities? You mean bathroom and toilet?
Yes. So you find people are sharing. It's really normal actually. Even a lot of young professionals. So don't even feel shame if you're looking at your budget and you're saying, I need to live in a house. Why can't I afford it? Because a lot of people, a lot of young professionals, even a lot of adults, families with children, are only able to afford a room. A single room, and then you share the toilet, you share the bathroom,
and
you share the
Americans.
kitchen. Yeah, they're Americans, definitely. So that's something that I never quite expected, and it was really, I had to like sit and like accept that and say, just because then you feel like you're downgrading. You're like, this is not the dream that I was expecting.
So are these people living in the slums? Are they sharing a room, one family, like in Kibera, Kayole, Kawangware, like the lower income generating?
It's not. It doesn't have to be low income generating. Yes. Actually, it really depends on where you are. That's what I was saying. Like if you live in New York, the biggest city in the world, you'll find someone working for a big company that has a roommate. Yes. And you're thinking, oh, someone works for KPMG, someone works for Cisco or something, and you feel like they would have a house in Runda. Yes. No, they're there with their house, a big house, and the three of them are living in that house. And Grace, this is one common thing in some parts of this country, like California and other areas where people live in their cars. Yes, yes. You just move in, if you can't afford rent anymore, or you lose your job, you just move in with your car to a parking, and you live there, and maybe you can go to the bathing centers. They have areas where you can go and have a bath once a week. But not only that, there's the people that do that out of necessity, but there are people that actually choose to live like that. They want to live in the car. They want to live in the car. What size is this car? Is it like the trucks, like a trailer. There are people who like really want to live in that system. They make a house and they do, I think what we're talking about is in Kenya, we feel like, we are used to hearing McMansions, we're used to hearing, paved streets, paved roads, we're used to hearing that materialistic focus. And then you come in here and you realize, I have seen potholes bigger than the size of my head, bigger than my bandana. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There are roads here in America that have big potholes. They are bad, and there are roads that you can't just drive on. Yes. They're bad. They're not repaired. Yes. Yeah, so it's not the perfect Jerusalem city, the golden streets that we dream of. Yes. But as we were talking about living together and accommodation, a lot of Kenyans come here without researching what exactly they're coming to find, because we watch a lot on TV, or we just have high expectations, because America, unlike other countries, do not wash their linen in public. They don't say what's going on within the country, whereas in Kenya and Africa, we are all out there with our business. We are all out there saying how poor we are. We are all out there doing videos on how poor we are. But here in America, the media are busy showing their White House, showing all the beautiful digital, age they're in. But they've hidden a lot of their trash under the table. Yes. Yeah. So when we come here, they say, oh, I've got a visa, I'm going to America. So when you arrive here, you find that even the school fees that you had carried is not enough. You find that you need a credit card, you need background check to get an apartment. Yeah. And especially on that tip of the credit card,
Yes.
or a credit check, you can be the richest person coming from Kenya. You can
You
track
can come
load
with all the
1
money.
million.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a credit card, you will not be able to buy a decent car.
Yeah.
You'll not be able to may not even be able to get an apartment, a good apartment.
Yes,
Because what they
yes.
look at is your credit score, your ability to pay your debts, because you come and realize that America runs on debt. You know, if you're not able to show the system that you can pay back, that you can be in the system, it can be very hard. I wasn't able to buy a phone when I came to the US.
I had someone had to
months.
recommend for me. I had to use someone's phone under their name, because you have to have a good history that you have been repaying your debt, that you're good with your credit, that you are able, you took a loan and you're repaying it. You ask yourself, how could I have taken a loan and I've just arrived here? So you meet with this what did it say, red tape, bureaucracies. The system is such that it makes it so hard for you to come and just start life on your own. So you're forced, because of that, to move in with the people you know, to move in with your community. And your community may not always be the best for you. Because even within your community, people come from Kenya with their behaviors. If someone was malicious in Kenya, that malice is not going to change on the plane. If someone was mean in Kenya, that meanness is not going to change on the plane.
You know, Grace, that's a good point, because then we ask people, okay, sometimes we're like, why would you associate with someone like that, or why would you allow something like that to happen to you? Sometimes it's the barriers. It's the barriers that put you into those situations.
And you'll find that someone you did not even talk to in Kenya, someone you never thought you'd associate with, someone you said, oh, they're from another tribe, whatever, Jaodwa. You find yourself crossing those barriers. In that way, I love America, because it humbles you so much. It brings you down to square one. You have to mix with people you didn't talk with and ask them, like, please, can I share a room with you? Can we share the same house? So you end up living like 6 people in the house. And I was telling you, Grace, we said it in one of the shows, where a lady came for a visit. Then she got a job as a yaya, and then she moved in with these other Kenyans. And then her husband, who was waiting for her for so long, finally showed up and moved in with them. Wow. So there were 6 people in the house, and the husband came and joined them.
But you know,
and then he was walking around in a towel.
But that's part of the hustle, you know, that you just become a hustler, because then, you know, you just have to find a way to survive. Especially like when a credit score is something that, especially when it comes to what you get, a social security number, everything that you will do henceforth is dependent on your social security number. So if you think that in Kenya you left a big M-Pesa or M-Shwari negative balance and you can go and start afresh, they'll track you from where you are. So it's really important that you know, being on top of your cards, because we come to realize that I think another stereotype leading into that is we assume that American systems work perfectly. But it doesn't necessarily work perfectly.
Not always.
Not always. We come to realize that inefficiencies exist in all types of systems. Especially there are some states, like I saw in Alabama, they had open sewage. Wow. And I was like, I've never seen anything like this. I would never expect to see anything like this in America. I can understand, you know, in Kenya, open sewage, but what about the day the sewage broke down in Center City and there was water flowing all over the city? We did not even go to work. So such things happen. We are all human. But you talking of Alabama, we're talking of right here in Philadelphia. When I went to the supermarket this morning, right behind the supermarket at the fresh grocers is a whole place for taka. There were so many birds. It reminded me of Kenyatta Hospital, you know, right outside the gate there, those vultures. There were vultures there, hundreds of them. I wanted to video them, but since our incident on Thursday, when we were almost arrested for videoing the police during the Kumechacha prompt, I was a little careful today. You can go back and watch it. Grace and I were almost arrested. We took a video of security police taking care of the suburban station.
They were driving, and we were like, yes, this police, there's so much security here. They think we want to bomb the place.
The police were like, huh?
So again, yes, and that brings us also to another point that when we were still talking about housing, that it is a normal thing to be homeless in America. At home, at least in Kenya, you can go to your aunt. You can go to your aunt's cousin. You can go to Mama Mboga. Even Mama Mboga can take you in. You can go to your in-laws, you know, be friendly to them and stay. Just say, I've come to visit you. You can go to an old schoolmate home. You can't really be homeless.
And you know, if we're so used to, and we're used to like the concept of like chokora or chokora families, and then we don't even anticipate that
You can become a chokora. You can become a chokora in America.
You really can.
And it doesn't.
So
it takes a
easy.
minute. It's so easy. Just miss paying your bill on time.
Yes.
Yeah. If your bill is supposed to be on the first, pay it on the first. Because if you pay it on the second, your security score is gonna go down, and the banks are gonna mark you like you're someone who is not consistent.
Yeah.
You can't be trusted with money. You are overusing your money, so you're in the high risk. They put you in a high risk.
But we also don't want to scare people to the point where it's like, you know, sometimes things happen, and we can say that there's a layer of like forgivability. Your credit score may go down, but there are also like rules that things that are set in place. So like the great rule of thumb is always pay on time. Always pay on time. Some people
I think it's important to scare people, because some of these real truths, if you do not pay your debt, and your credit scores your credit history goes red, it will take you 7 years, 7 good years to repair that credit. 7 years. And within those 7 years, you cannot get a mortgage, you cannot buy a home, you know, you cannot buy a car. You are in the red. So it is serious stuff. So you just have to know early before you come. Research, Google about credit history, background check. And then so it is possible to be homeless in America.
It is.
Yeah, and even when you're here, I've seen families in America here where the parents leave for them the houses. When a parent dies, they leave for you their house in a will. But if you can't maintain the taxes, then you lose the home. You end up being homeless.
And another stereotype is like, we expect that, especially we are so used to, and this is something that America needs to work on, is on its racism problem. And we feel like you come here, there's no racism, there's no discrimination, especially for, you know, if you're Black or if you're, I came to realize I was Black when they asked me on my college application, who are you?
Grace,
and I said,
is this black?
I have no idea.
This looks like
you
blue.
know,
this is not blue. Yeah, but black, I don't know why they say people are black or white, because white is milk,
I mean, I don't know. I'm not American.
I don't know.
So
this is black.
But I'm saying
this is black. Black. Yeah, that's black. And you're not black. Okay, let's go on.
So they classify, you come and realize that we have these stereotypes that white people all live in rich houses, you know, or we expect that all America is white, and you come and realize that it's not only white people that live here, it's African Americans, it's people of African descent, it's Asian Americans, there's Hispanic Americans, there's a whole world of Americans
Chinese,
out there.
Americans,
yes, Asian Americans. So you come and realize that it's not the, and especially we have to debunk this with because we've seen so much of TV, the bold and the beautiful, and all these things. We come to just see one view.
The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
so
different strokes.
Yeah, so you come and
times.
see. Yeah, you come and see that white people can be homeless, especially a lot of people that are on the streets. You know, it's like equal parts. Yeah, white people on the streets living in poverty.
A lot of veterans.
Yeah, a lot of veterans. You know, you serve. Some people, you know, you think that it's a government where you'll be taken care of. No, there are a lot of people that are struggling out here because you know the government has failed them in one way or another. So sometimes it's just a reality check and just say, I can't be holding those types of ideas.
Yeah, so when you come here, you'll be reminded every time that you're black. And every time you go to fill a form, welcome Romana, happy Sabbath. Every time you go to fill a form, there's a box there. Everything you fill in, they ask you, are you red? Are you black? Are you yellow? Are you African American? Are you white, Caucasian?
They don't quite write it like that, Grace.
Okay, they say, are you Caucasian? Are you African? Are you, no, not African. The word African is black, black or African American. Are you Hispanic? You know? Yeah, so what I normally, are you others? I normally put other because I'm not African American. I'm black, but I'm not African American. And then you can add Kenyan American if you already have the citizenship. But I just put African.
It comes down to how you choose
how
to
you
identify.
Perceive yourself. Yeah, but a lot of Kenyans choose to identify themselves as African American.
Yeah.
Oh, Nakula Wings.
Nakula Wings.
Yeah,
yes.
A lot of Kenyans identify themselves just for the sake, I mean, for ease.
Yeah, it's easier.
Yeah, just take that you're African American. But you keep being reminded every day that you're black.
Yeah.
Racism issues.
Yeah.
People being shot because of their color.
Yes.
And you start getting into the conversation and you start asking yourself, where do I fit in all this?
Yes.
You might tell yourself, this is not my history. I'm not a slave. I was not brought here. But people will ask you why you sold them. as slaves because you came from the African countries.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people here also think that Africa is a country, one country.
Right.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter whether it was west, east, north, or south. They say, why did you sell us as slaves? And now you're in your country, in our country. Yeah.
So I think, Grace, especially when you come in the conversation of Black or African American, I think it all comes down to how you identify yourself or how you see yourself in the broad state of a global citizen. I will say that, we may not have the answer for you. You'll have to determine that for yourself, but it's an opportunity for you to open yourself and maybe see that you're not just Kenyan. You're part of a broader group of people who are fighting for liberation. So Sam, I would put that I'm Black. So it really comes down to maybe African American. So everyone has their own definition and you can feel comfortable. Sometimes some people choose to put other because some job applications have been, they've been able to show in some studies that if you put that you're Black or African American, it could hurt your job chances. If you put that you're a male or female, if you put female, it could hurt your job chances. And those are some very, very real issues that America still has to deal with. Not saying that other countries are better in that perspective, but on a country that maybe touts itself as being, or we have this ideal that it's just equal and everything. These are real things that affect people.
Sometimes you realize that we the people does not really exist, and then you'll also find yourself caught in between because you work in a place where there are the whites and the Blacks and the Hispanics, and then they've started the Black and Brown movement. So and then there's the white people, and you just got a job there. You came from your country and you've come to work and you don't really want to be involved in this conversation. So when you're friendly to the white people at the workplace, they say you're a racist, like you don't like your own Black people. And then when you're with your own Black people, then the white people wonder like, so did you come here to work or why are you involved in this? And then when the Black people, the African Americans, go out to demonstrate against the human rights in cases where they feel their rights have been abused, do you go and join the Black people on the streets, or you'll be seen as someone sitting on the fence who wants to just benefit, or from the fights the hard-won fights that other people have gone through. So it's really tricky. The important thing is do what brought you here, do your job, and but sometimes you have to get involved. If you're married into an African American family, and then you find that now you're engaged in some of these problems, because their problems are not yours. Like you're afraid, for instance. I don't know what happens with the Kenyans who have sons or daughters, but mostly sons. If your son goes out, you send them to the store, or your husband goes to the store, or your husband goes to Center City. You're not sure that they'll come back because there's so much violence in some areas. You're afraid that your husband, your son, will be shot when he goes just to the store at the corner. So I don't think we have that problem in Kenya, that when you send your son out of the house, they might come back. You'll be called back.
I mean, that will just be insecurity.
There's insecurity. There's a lot of insecurity here, especially in the Black neighborhoods. There's a lot of insecurity, and that's the reality. I've lived in the Black neighborhoods.
I would say that I think putting Black neighborhoods can be a bit of a stereotype. So you have to be really careful. Also, I think that's also like you have to be careful on how you navigate the space, because it's like how you navigate. It's a different way, but also similar to how people talk about tribalism or deal with tribalism in Kenya. It's very much complex in the way people live here. It
is complicated, but there are areas in this state where only Blacks live, but there are areas where there's a mixture. So when you go, as you go in and in the inner cities, it's not
and
called the neighborhood,
poverty,
it's called
there's
the
even
inner
poverty,
cities.
And I think there's even poverty in white neighborhoods.
There is, and there's violence as well. But I've lived in the Black neighborhoods. I'll call them the inner cities because we don't use the word hood anymore. It is considered a negative word. So I've lived in the inner cities, and I've watched people kill each other, shoot each other, stab each other. Like every day you see a dead body, and you get worried, like, why are these boys all out here killing each other? But that is part of the deeper conversation that's going on. And if you don't really know much about it, it's important not to get into it. Can you read what Asha is saying?
Asha says, I've been to 6 African countries, including Kenya, this past May. Some people in those countries have asked in a puzzling way, why do you want to come to Africa when we're trying to get to America? I always tell them America is not what you think it is. African Americans like to Africa because we don't feel the racism. It's good to be someplace where Black people are in the majority.
And Grace, I missed that about home. When I sang to Shangilia, Kenya, I work in Kenya and I'm not worried about my color. In some parts of Kenya, I may start being worried about my tribe. I used to teach in some areas where I didn't speak the language.
Right.
Yeah, so I had to learn the language.
Yeah.
I won't say where.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are being objective here. But even in some parts of Kenya, there are areas where you're not really comfortable being there. But it's more because I think it's more about community than tribe.
Yes.
Because if you are there are people who have successfully lived with other communities where they don't speak the language, but they accepted and embraced those people and became a part of them.
Right.
So it's accepting, being empathetic, and being a part of the community.
Yes.
And then you fit in well.
I think the conversation, Grace, on racism and the conversation on what role that we play comes into place is I'm always looking at it from, I'm coming from to a place where I'm getting some privileges because maybe the color of my skin, or maybe when people hear me talk, I'll get a privilege because they associate with African Americans. There's this stereotype about African Americans, and then I get privileged because I'm African, and then like Africans have this like. So it's really complicated, and you have to like, ignorance is no defense. It's important to you that you be able to like listen and talk to people and really hear about what's going on, because not all places are the same.
But what are some of the stereotypes about African Americans or Americans?
I don't think, well, to the one extent, it was like African Americans are gangsters.
Yeah, they all have guns.
It's a really hurtful stereotype, because one of the things that happens is like after some time, there's no difference. Like there's no difference between me and the next person who has my similar type of skin. When it comes time to racism, and they're trying to get you off the bus, or they're trying to like put you all in a corner together, just because you're Kenyan or come from a different type of descent will not excuse you from that.
Yeah, if they're rounding up, if the police are rounding up black people on the streets, you're gonna go with the African American. So you can't detach yourself and say, I'm not part of them. You know?
So it's really important that you also you just don't put your blinkers on and have this ideal that just stay in your house and just be Kenyan. You're existing within a broader scheme.
You're part of the community.
You're part of the community. And
if the house fires are burning in California, the house fire will not skip your house because you are Kenyan or you're African and take the other houses. And then, Grace, one of the stereotypes I had was that I thought all Americans are educated and speak English. Yeah, perfect English. Yeah, and then you come and
your literacy levels are really, really high.
Yeah, because they didn't get the opportunities.
Yes, there's some people here that, especially if you're in the social work field, there's some folks that cannot write their name. There's some people who have like that class 2 education, and you think that it's probably only like people who are in the village or people who are just in, those people are the ones who you would excuse them. But here you find people who are living right next door to you, who have never been able to read. There's a really famous pop singer. Her name was Fantasia, and she was actually one of the contestants in American Idol. And she later confessed that she doesn't know how to read and write. Floyd Mayweather, who is boxing, and I know I'm referencing black folks, but it's not just black folks. These are just the famous people. Floyd Mayweather, it's famous boxer, right? Making millions and millions. The man has a very, very low reading and writing level.
Wow.
So we assume that, people here, almost everyone goes to a 4-year university. No, there are people here that go to polytechnics. The people here that go and get the diploma. A lot of people choose not to, or because of their finances, are not able to afford a 4-year education, which is an assumption that I had when I came in.
And then on the flip side, again, Grace, we thought that we had at home that Americans were gangsters, and although they all spoke English. But I also came to realize that a lot of African Americans are very highly educated, and that they have careers. They're lawyers, they're doctors, they're teachers. So that image that we had at home about them is not necessarily true. So it's important to learn about people, learn about your neighbor, learn about their history. Because if you don't know someone, you really do not know how to relate with them. Just take a little time and,
So Asha says that's the old divide and conquer technique used to keep Africans from uniting. It's very true. It's very true.
Because why should we as Africans look at other Africans as inferior? Or like they're different than us, they don't like us. Someone was telling me the other day, like, a stereotype that Americans themselves have about the Africans who come here. So one of my friends wanted to have a relationship. He saw an African man he liked. Sorry, the man saw an African woman he liked. And he said, I want to go out with these African women, but I'm told they all come here with AIDS. All the
Oh,
Africans
wow.
that come to America have AIDS.
Wow.
All Africans that come to America
Right.
have fully diagnosed with
Right.
AIDS.
Right.
Yeah. And I told him that's not true. But even if, I mean, that's a generalization. It's like saying all Americans are this, all whites are this, all policemen are this. That's stereotyping.
That's
And our topic today is stereotyping.
Yes.
We tend to stereotype people consciously and unconsciously.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it starts with being judgmental and not getting your facts right. Yeah. Basing your wild perspective on your beliefs and the rumors you've had all around.
And I can say that, you know, sometimes and it's important to like recognize that some of these things were taught and you kind of absorb them over time. So it's okay to recognize that you have them, because everyone has unconscious biases, conscious and unconscious, and actively working to debunk them, learn more about them so that you can make an informed opinion. Yeah?
Yes.
What's that?
We have an alarm out there. We have an alarm out there. I think someone is in danger.
Oh, you know, Grace, a stereotype that I had is that police, when you call the police in America, they come to you in 5 minutes.
Apana.
Or the firefighter comes to you in 5 minutes.
We were saying, in Kenya, the police have to go get fuel. You have to pay them. You are calling them and they still don't have fuel.
Yeah.
So when they come pushing the car. And then you run and buy for them fuel and put in the car. And then they ask you, what has happened? But that's a worst case scenario.
Yeah. In the US, there's some people, and especially when it comes down to either access, not all places are equal.
Yeah.
There are some towns in which the police will come quickly. There's some neighborhoods that the police will not come to no matter what you do. And those are the ones that maybe inner cities, maybe that's a compounding problem, is in some cities, the police have like a slow policy on getting there. You know, there are people that really suffer out there because the police are not coming to their houses. If you live in I think it's very much like rich and poor.
Yes.
You know, we think that we are very different, but sometimes rich and poor affect people so much.
Yeah, but Grace, I'd rather the police not come than have a police come and shoot the wrong person.
That's true.
Yeah, because there's a lot of cases where the police came, the person who called the police to come and help ended up dying because the police thought they were the robber, either because of the color of their skin or because they were thought to be too black to live in a certain neighborhood.
Yes.
So color is so subtle. The way someone can use color against you,
right?
It's so complicated.
And Asha, you're very, very right. I know, you know, Kenya, we have our own problems, but I think just having a majority just changes the way everything goes. And for speaking about like discrimination, there are a lot of people that come to this country to seek asylum due to LGBT discrimination and other things. And like we were marrying the US government, or how government is not like perfect. Sometimes you may be coming here and expecting that you will not experience any discrimination, or you have protections because you've come in, you know, as an LGBT identifying person. You come and realize that those prejudices and stereotypes and the way they affect your ability to get a job, affect your ability to even live in some places, they will just look at you and just they'll feel that you are, assume that you are, and you'll automatically be rejected. You know, so it's a real big issue that, you know, someone who's coming in to really get away from that, you may not expect that coming in.
You're not going to have an easy sail. You're not going to have an easy ride just because you left Kenya, you left Uganda, Tanzania, because you because of your sexual orientation
or gender
because
identity.
You're gender identity, you're identifying as gay, lesbian, queer, transgender, you'll come here and find that there are problems surrounding that here as well. So there are areas that you can't stay in, as Grace has said. So there's a lot of discrimination, there's a lot of stigma surrounding it. But there's a bit of hypocrisy about it at home, because I know that there's I've seen a lot of reports about girls in boarding schools engaged in lesbianism. And the lesbianism in Kenya is at a very, very high level, very, very high level in schools. And a lot of times, there are schoolgirls who've been expelled out of it from that. So it's a conversation that we are not having, and our parents don't want to talk about it. But at least out here in America, people talk openly about it. And there are people who are ready to go on the crossfire and and say, no, you're not going to discriminate me. I'm gay. I'm openly gay, and there's nothing you can do about it. And again, here, the other thing I did not expect was that when you came here, that people who are the LGBTQ could have their weddings.
Yes.
Yeah, they
I
had
think,
a fight, but there are places they can go and get married. Even
well,
in some.
in the US now, they repealed the act that was saying that it's only a man and a woman. So that means in all states, you can go actually and get a marriage license with a man or man, however you identify.
Yeah,
it didn't have to be like strictly man.
If you're a man and you want to marry another man, let's break it down for Kenya.
Yeah.
If you're a man and you want to marry another man whom you love, who is your soulmate, whom you want to live with for better or for worse, you can marry them. If you're a woman who wants to marry another woman, yeah, not to give back for you and surrogate as in Kenya, but because two women are in love with each other, the way, yeah, you can go ahead and get married. So you cannot do that in Kenya right now. You cannot go and get married openly in Kenya as an LGBTQ.
But Grace, is also the concept of remember, like I don't know what it really is, comes down to, maybe a custom, but in some tribes an older woman can marry a younger woman, like they can marry them for the purposes of childbirth and things like that. So I don't know if that is like custom wise or it has to be for love, or but we have kind of arrangements that we're not say similar, but kind of like follow along those lines.
So we have a traditional, we have it among certain communities. Actually, a lot of communities in Kenya, when the first wife cannot have children, she or the husband can bring another woman to have babies for her. So it is this, she's the one who is marrying this woman. It's a tokenism. She's not sleeping with this woman, but she's allowing the husband. She's allowing her husband to sleep with the woman. You can bring your sister, your cousin, if you want money to stay within the family. Or if you are not willing to bring in someone, your husband can. Your husband's sisters can bring in their friends to help their brother perpetuate the family line. So it's a culture that is done amongst us. So everybody has their culture. So it's just important to respect it. You don't have to practice it, but respect it and give people their space. Because it is their life. It is not your life.
It's the same way that you imagine someone coming off the street and telling you about your life. How would you feel?
How would you feel?
Yeah.
And there are people who are LGBTQ community who don't believe in heterosexual relationships. So the way you're making fun of them, like I've seen people making fun on Facebook, posting 2 men married or 2 women married and making nasty comments. Maybe that's the same way they feel about it. They feel you're the one who is abnormal. But that goes for that. So Grace, you've reminded me about, you're talking about the love. Well, I thought when you were at home, because in Kenya, mostly the older people marry the younger people. The older man marries the younger woman. But here,
but remember Wanzira and her the older lady who married
she married 3 husbands.
She married 3 husbands?
Yeah, but that's why she was in the news. She did something. News is you do something that is not ordinary. Dog bites man, no, man bites. Instead of the dog biting the man bites the dog and the dog bites. That's what makes news. So she did something that is against the norm. That's why she was in the news headline. So if you're married, and the other lady also the other day married 2 men and they were all living together, and she got arrested because, was it called polyandry or whatever she was practicing was against the constitution. So whatever you practice, it still has to be within the constitution. I guess so.
If you choose to like legalize it or go.
But here, I've seen 70-year-olds marrying each other. You have a 17-year-old boy marrying a 60-year-old woman, and they're in love, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you are in people's country. That's their custom. Let them be.
I mean, we also recognize, like, I think in Kenya we conceptualize it more of like child marriage, because we also recognize that in Kenya, the child marriages, especially especially as we're recognizing gender-based violence, realizing that it happens in Kenya, and many times it's not consented. Many times here, when we're describing this situation, many times it's consent and like love-based, so just recognizing like the small differences that take place. Another thing especially around housing, we expect that, okay, you're just because someone shows you that they have a microwave and a fridge and a stove or an oven, that they are living big and they are living lives, that they are not poor. In most houses in America, what comes standard in a house is those 3 things. Most of the time you'll find a fridge there, you'll find a microwave, and you'll find a stove, aka oven, because it's plugged into the gas line.
So that's one advantage. When you come here, you don't go starting buying your fridge, your cooker. When you rent a house, the landlord is supposed to put that already in. You just come with your other furniture. But the kitchen, fridge, Those
Yeah.
should come like standard. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
expect that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also didn't expect that every house had a toilet that flushes. Yeah,
So
because a lot in Kenya we have a lot of pit latrines,
mhm.
and then also we have some areas don't have water, so you
Yeah.
might have the flushing toilet, but you have to pour that bucket maybe once a day.
Yeah. Patricia, thanks for joining us. Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
joining
that-
us from
for
the
compliment.
Netherlands. Thank you.
Yeah, so don't let Martha, thank you for joining us. If you're someone who's in an online relationship with someone who's in America, don't let them lie to you when they show you pictures of their fridge.
Yes.
They'll leave it there when they move.
Yeah, when you move again, when you move, you leave that fridge. That fridge is part of the wall. It's part of the fly on the wall. It comes with it comes with the rent,
house,
with the housing, So someone just taking nice pictures with this
like,
pop.
look at my
I have
oven.
that man has a fridge and the cook. I'm gonna get married, and then when you come, you'll find the person did not pay their rent and they are homeless. It's called homeless in America. And that's, I was saying again, the reason I love Kenya, is that I have had people say in the office that the boss can't treat me like that.
Yeah.
I have my home I can go to. We have what is called ancestral land.
Yes.
Kwenu nyumbani.
Yes.
It's called ushago. Yeah, you have your shago. When push comes to shove, you can pack your things and go to your nyalgunga.
And start.
Nyalgunga always awaits you.
You start. You have somewhere to start.
You have somewhere to start from. You can go and tell your uncle, please give me that little parcel of land behind your kitchen or behind the graveyard. Where I can put up something small. But here, if you are evicted from the house, you might end up in a shelter. But even in the shelter, you might not get in because the shelter is crowded. You have to go every day and queue, line up, so you can get a place to spend the night. And shelter has its own conditions. There's theft, they'll steal your medicine, they'll steal your property, they'll steal your money. So
and Grace, speaking of home, but you also want to acknowledge that shelters are a very important part of life here, because without shelters, it'd be really hard for anyone to really make it, because in the cold, everyone is locked into their houses, or you're out on the street. So shelters, even though they have their issues, they really help a lot of people. Even if you're struggling right now, you can go into a shelter and ask to be linked into supportive services. You can go see a therapist, you can go see a caseworker. And if you're evicted, you can get into a hospital.
And if you're evicted at home, what do? You
go back to Nyalgunga. And actually, I came to realize here in America, your mother can be staying down the street. Where in Kenya,
even
you're
in
Nairobi.
What are you? Grace, finish that when we talk about your mother, father-in-law, mother-in-law staying in the same house.
So, I didn't expect for someone to say, my mother just lives down the street over there. In Kenya, most of the time you expect you're in one place or in Nairobi, and you go to Nyalgunga it's like a trip. Here, people just take a corner. The mother is a corner away. The grandmother is 2 blocks away. The auntie lives, 5 minutes away.
When you're spitting through the window, you might be spitting into your mother's backyard.
So people live very close to each other, which is something that I didn't I wasn't expecting that. It was just something that was new to me, because I was used to doing that up country traveling,
So we have Nyalgunga. We have Ushago to go back to. In America, they do not have a Nyalgunga. They just have the streets. Kwa hivyo, sitaiacha Kenya nchi yangu, mimi ni mwenye Kenya daima. Umoja wetu Kenya tudumishe, mimi ni mwenye Kenya daima. Sitadanganywa kamwe na porojo, mimi ni mwenye Kenya daima. Mwenye kuleta chuki kati yetu, mimi ni mwenye Kenya daima. Kipenzi Kenya, kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya yetu, Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya ni baba yetu, tena ni mama yetu, hatutaacha Kenya daima na milele. Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya yetu, Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima. Wow. Kuna Ushago. Don't underestimate Ushago, because you have a place to go back to.
Grace, we are 1 hour 13 minutes.
Really? And we didn't finish our topics yet. So there also there's an issue of jobs, which we'll touch we'll touch in our next show about how everybody does different kinds of jobs in America. Even as a manager, it's a 24-hour economy.
Yeah.
So you might find your manager is your supervisor or your boss in the office in the day, but when you go to the supermarket in the evening, he's there behind the counter with the apron doing another job, just selling milk, tapping.
Yeah.
So because of time, we'll do that in our next show. And then we were going to talk about World AIDS Day.
Yes. Let's talk about World AIDS Day. It's really important.
Yes.
Yeah.
So World AIDS Day 2018 is today, and a lot of people are wearing the red ribbon. The HIV has grown. HIV treatment has really grown over time. It's not like the old days when everybody was dying and they didn't have medication, and the medications they had was killing everybody. People have grown more open. There's more awareness right now. But today is especially important in commemorating the lives of those who have gone ahead of us, and also to create awareness. So the purpose of this day is to create awareness, and the theme for this year as AIDS Day is know your status. So it's important to know your status, because when you know your status, you can start treatment. So before they said, even if you did not know your status, you could live for a long time with and just be, the symptoms do not show. But now they want you to start treatment immediately, because once the virus attacks you, it takes only 2 weeks for you to be infected, and then you have a flu and you think it's the common flu. But that's when the AIDS is the most dangerous for you, because it's making copies and multiplying rapidly in your body. So the beauty is now, if you know your status, there are now such great medications. There's 6 classes of medication that you can get that keeps you undetectable. And if you're undetectable, you cannot transmit HIV to anybody, even if you have unprotected sex. You can get STIs, you can get syphilis, gonorrhea,
you can get pregnant.
You can get pregnant, but you cannot get HIV from another person if you're undetectable. So the aim of knowing your status is to start the medication so that the HIV virus is contained, so it doesn't grow wild and make you sick. Because once you get too sick, you start getting opportunistic infections, and these are things like nausea, diarrhea, HIV dementia, loss of memory, blindness. So a lot of times, those who don't know their status go to see the doctor for illnesses that could have been prevented. Because you'd say, oh, you didn't go for your HIV test, you think you're just sick. You're having PCP pneumonia, you're having this cough that doesn't stop, you're having, your body is wasting.
So it's like an AIDS diagnosis.
It's an AIDS diagnosis, and yet you don't know that you're having an AIDS diagnosis. You're just saying, oh, I'm coughing, I'm getting blind, my vision, I can't remember things anymore. But you actually have a diagnosis, but you've not gone for the test. So it's important to know your test, because one, it's prevention. You're caring for yourself and also protecting others. So we were talking about transportation.
Traveling.
So before, if you were HIV positive, they did not allow you to travel or come to America or other states, but now you can come. You can come to America even if you're HIV positive.
And please debunk that stereotypes. I think we just saw someone had referenced that, and that's misinformation. And that's the impact of stigma in our communities, and that's what makes it hard for people to, especially in Kenya, to really talk about what's happening around them and to even access opportunities. Because then someone would just be living on misinformation because of that. It's really important to have awareness and debunk those things that have changed.
And we were talking about judgment, Grace, and I saw what some lady said about having mercy or sympathizing with people who are living with HIV. Why are you sympathizing with them and they're not you? Then you're not the one going to die, they're the one who are going to die. Why are you sympathizing? Like, live your life. There are people who want to live other people's lives. If someone is HIV positive, that's their problem, that's their worry. Let them go for treatment. Maybe the person who is living with HIV is living much, much better than you. We just went to a reunion summit, Grace, where people who have lived with HIV for 40 years, people who are 80, 90, came to the workshop, and they were talking about living healthy. They have good jobs.
Right.
They have wives. They have children. They have a family.
Right.
And here you're sympathizing with them, and you're in your one room shuffling between 3 jobs a day,
thinking that you're in another class.
Why do you sympathize with someone else's life and you're not them?
And you know, Grace, even let's talk about even not the people who were born positive. You know, well, the world has moved from what has been known as, like, remember Nkosi Johnson was one of the earliest, the young boy who died from it's South African boy who's really one of the large champions of children who were born positive. And nowadays you have people who are born acquired HIV either through during the birth process or mother to child transmission, who are adults and are living amazing lives.
And I have a friend who just had is going to have a second baby. And I have a friend who has 3 children, and she was born with HIV, and she's now 35. And she's happy. She's happily married. She has a job. She has a husband. And some do not have husbands. Like, you don't have, marriage is not for everybody, and singlehood is not for everybody.
But you know, if they're happy,
then don't sympathize with them. Like, did they tell you
they're not looking for your pity?
They did not come with a begging bowl for sympathy, so that you place it in their basket. So just do you. Like, don't do others. Do you. Focus on you.
Pick a struggle, but not of other people.
Don't pick other people's struggle, because you are a stigmatizer. You are a dream killer. People are trying to live with the virus, improve their health, you know, try to get the best they can. Instead of supporting them, you are putting them down.
Dream killer.
You're a dream killer. You're a dream killer. You're a naysayer. You have negative energy. So all that negative energy you need. I think there's a time my cousins used to fight. So one day my uncle said, you know what? Come and show you something. He gave them 2 jembes and said, you have so much energy. Can you lima? Can you dig this funny and plant some potatoes?
Dig some ditches. Something productive.
So I feel like you have too much energy. If you have time talking about people living with HIV, you're talking about anybody else. Take that negative energy and use it to create something. Go dig a shamba. Go do matafari.
See, that we are transforming that negative energy into something educational.
Make it positive. And then so it is good also, again, on the flip side, Grace, if people say this, then we know that there's so much yet to do about education and AIDS awareness. And that's why we have World AIDS Day, so that people like that, people who think they're superior, who think that AIDS or HIV can never get into their lives, you don't know. You really never know.
And Grace, you know, I was really encouraged when I saw that. I was really encouraged by the people who immediately responded and said no. You know, and that is also something that I want to acknowledge the people who are working in the background.
You are your brother's keeper. You're your sister's keeper. So if someone is attacking people and you're just watching, like someone comes and say, oh, so-and-so said something about you, I always want a recorded conversation. If you did not record that conversation and what you said about me in the same conversation, don't come and tell me so-and-so said this about
what am
you.
I going to do?
Come with evidence. Say, I want to hear how that conversation went. Play it. The person said this and I said this. The person said, Grace is like this and I said this. Otherwise, keep that problem to yourself.
Kumechacha.
So we'll see you next Saturday. Same time, same place at Chujipange Studios in Philadelphia. We love you all.
We love you.
Na wala tusijuane, nimempata mwingine. Nimempata mwingine. Kumechacha, Grace.
Kumechacha.
Nakwambia.
Kumechacha.